If you've ever been in a conversation that involved money and finances with friends or family and thought, what the heck are they talking about? Then this video is for you. I'm Kris, and this is the Money Translator. And I've been that person many times. I am not a finance bro. I am, in fact, a communications professional. I've spent over a decade of my career explaining information in a way that takes something complicated and complex and condenses it down into something that real humans can understand. People who feel a bit left behind like I do. I think a lot of us just weren't taught this well. Not at school, not at home. Maybe money wasn't talked about with our parents or caregivers. So in this video, I want to break down 10 financial terms that are simple, but may not have been described or explained in a way that really made sense for ordinary human beings. So let's get into it with number one. And if this is content that's helpful for you, hit subscribe, hit like, and let's go. Term number one is income. Income basically means money that's coming in. It's in the name, it's really helpful. So if you sell something online, if you get paid for a job, if you get gifted some money, that's income. It's basically anything that shows up in your life as money. Most of us earn this by working, so that's called earned income. You trade your time and energy for a paycheck, but there's heaps of other ways to earn money as well. And the one that a lot of people really want to aspire to is what's called passive income. So if you've got active income, meaning you go to a job and you work, passive income is something that you set up once and it keeps earning money in the background. So maybe you've got a room that you rent out, or you write an ebook and you sell it online over and over and over again. You only have to write the book once, but it sells multiple times. So that's an example of a passive income. And I think what's really aspirational for income is that the more we can grow our income, the more time we receive back. And I think that's at the heart of a lot of these personal finance YouTubers who want to grow your income. Really what we're attracted to, not so much as the money, but the freedom that represents. So it means not having to turn up to your job and being able to be financially free and pursue other things. And so that leads us to term two, which is stuff that we want to do with our money, which is expenses. Now, some of these are not things we want to do, like pay rent or groceries, especially groceries, petrol, power, takeaways, subscriptions. Everything's really expensive. And an expense is the opposite of income. So if income is money going in, expenses is money going out. We can break that down even further. So there are fixed expenses, which are things that cost the same every month, let's say, rent or your phone bill. Generally going to be the same every month, but then there are variable expenses as well. So these are things that can fluctuate, that can change and move around. So fuel is always changing in price here in New Zealand, and I'm sure around the world too. These are variable expenses, things that move. And then there's the fun spending. This is sometimes called discretionary spending, like it's at your discretion. You can decide what to do with it. And this is for things like takeaways, for entertainment, things you don't have to buy, but that you want to. I mean, these are things that make your life enjoyable. This is what you want to spend your income on. Understanding your income and your expenses isn't about judging your spending so much. It's about noticing. It's about seeing where your money is going. Because when you're doing that, you're basically doing term three, which is a budget or budgeting. A budget is just a plan for your money. That's it. It's not about restricting, although there may be aspects of a budget that will restrict your spending, but it's just a way to say, here's what I've got coming in, your income, and here's what I've got going out, your expenses, and here's what's left. If there's money left over, you get to decide what you do with it. You can save it, you can spend it, you can use it to pay something off. The point of a budget is not to make your life boring. And I know that's a conception around budgeting, is that suddenly all of the fun's going to be sucked out of your life. I think a budget's important because it helps you to stop stressing about money. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of us aspire to not do, just to stress about our money. Because when we budget, we allow ourselves to do term 4, which is saving. Saving means to put aside money for later. Now that might be for something fun, something unexpected, something important, but saving gives you options, and options reduces that financial stress. Even $5 a week saved is making a difference, I think. But more importantly, what savings does is it helps you to build financial habits and financial discipline. It's like when you go to the gym to exercise. If you're exercising your muscles at the gym, you're strengthening your muscles over time. And that's what saving does. It exercises and stretches and grows your financial muscles. And it helps you to protect yourself from the next term, which is debt. Debt is basically money you've borrowed that you need to pay back. Now, that might be for something really big, like borrowing money for a house or for your student loans. It might be like a credit card. So when you swipe your credit card, that's money that you don't have, that you're borrowing, or something like a buy now, pay later system. So you don't actually have that money, you're just borrowing it. And then here's the thing about debt, you're paying for that privilege to borrow something. So you're borrowing it, and then you've agreed to a certain rate or an interest rate, and you're paying that back. And that's why debt can become a trap, because it can quietly chip away at your future income because you're actually paying more than what you need to. And we've mentioned it already, but here's term 6, which is interest. Interest is the cost. It's the cost of borrowing money. Or on the flip side, it's a reward for saving. Okay, so let me explain that. If you borrow, you pay interest. We've talked about that. If you save or invest, you earn interest. It's kind of like a rental fee. Either you're renting someone else's money, or they're paying you rent for your money. And the cool thing about when you're earning interest as opposed to paying interest is term 7, which is compounding. Compounding is the secret sauce. This is where wealth is built over time. This is how you become financially secure. Because compounding is when your interest, i.e. the money that someone's paying you to use your money, snowballs. You know, it's that picture of a snowball at the top of a hill. It starts small, but as it rolls down the hill, it starts to pick up more snow. It gets bigger, it goes faster, it gets bigger, it goes faster. And as it rolls, it picks up more snow. And eventually you've got a big snowball, Indiana Jones chasing scene sequence. But that's why people say start early, because you need time for that snowball to grow. You know, compounding works the best over a long period of time. And that helps you grow your assets, which is term number 8. Assets are things that you own that are worth something, basically. So that could be the money in your savings account, it could be your car, a house that you own, or a business that you have an interest in, or even the tools that you use to make money. An asset is something that helps you build your wealth, and it helps you to keep your wealth over time. And on the flip side of an asset is our 9th term, which is liabilities. So it's a fancy word, but liabilities are just the opposite of assets. If assets are things that grow your wealth, then your liabilities are things that cost you money or lose value over time. So we've talked a lot about loans, but the credit card balance is a liability. It's something that you owe money on. Now, the goal isn't to never have liabilities, because let's say a mortgage is a liability that you're going to have for a long time, 20 plus years. The goal is to make sure that your assets grow faster than your liabilities do. Because when you do this sum, that leads us to our 10th term, which is your net worth. All right, so you might hear billionaires' worth being measured in net worth. It's just a term that means what you own minus what you owe. So let's say you've got $2,000 in savings and $1,000 in debt. So you owe $1,000. your net worth is $1,000. If you've got more debt than savings, for instance, your net worth might be negative, and that's okay. It's okay. It's just a snapshot. What a net worth number tells you is what direction financially you're heading in, and which is why people like to use net worth as a sort of general guide as to what your financial status is. And the tricky part about net worth is it becomes very easy to turn that into, this is what I'm worth. Net worth is not a measure of you and your success as a person, although a lot of billionaires might want to project that, right? $1 billion, the $1 million figure even is really important for some people, but net worth isn't about assigning value to who you are. It's about a picture, a financial picture of where you are and where you're headed. And that's it. That's 10 financial terms that hopefully are foundational building blocks for you to understand a little bit more about what people are talking about when they have these financial conversations. Now, these might seem basic, and they are very basic terms, but we don't all have the same access to information. And this isn't stuff that's always talked about freely. If this video was helpful, if you want more no jargon, plain English explainers, hit subscribe. I'm Kris, this is the Money Translator. We'll see you on the next one.